Operational excellence is a core competency. Everybody knows AIG 200. To the left are some of the distinct work streams we had. But this was so incredibly important. The underwriting culture needed to change. I would say the operational culture had to change more because we really only have one. And so how do you build an end-to-end operational process is really important. Some of the key accomplishments, it was all about building the foundation for the future. And you'll see when we talk about AI that we've been able to do that. But we achieved $1 billion of run rate savings with a 1.3 cost to achieve. And that's very tight for a project like this, particularly when so many of the investments were highly dilutive. Speaking of which, we invested $500 million to digitize our commercial underwriting platform end to end. And so the returns, of course, you're going to be able to do renewals better, new business, but it was dilutive. But it needed to be done, like in order to shape the company for the future. We reshaped our operational infrastructure. We upskilled talent, added, supplemented to what we had. We scaled our public cloud adoption. We went from 20% to 80% in 2 years. And so we saw an opportunity, as we have across AIG in multiple cases, like going linear is not getting us there. So we've just got to transform and jump. And we did an incredible job of getting that done in 2 years. When we did that, we eliminated 1,200 legacy applications. And that'll sound boring, but when you start to get some standardization of how you're going to move to the cloud, you don't want to just like forklift everything. That's expensive. So we were able to eliminate a lot of the applications that were no longer fit for purpose. And we modernized our data and document foundation. That feels like a throwaway line. It's probably the most important line out of the key accomplishments because it enabled us to have single definitions for data and then to take on what we're doing today and in AI. Strategic divestitures, those are usually done from a point of weakness. We did it from a point of strength. How do you shape the portfolio? How do you position the company for the future? What do you want the company to look like in order to have outperformance? So you know the strategic divestitures. Two biggest ones were Corebridge and Validus for different reasons. With that, we transferred 13,000 full-time employees, which was $1.1 billion of less cost. We eliminated $250 million of stranded costs. A lot of companies can't get the stranded costs out. We were all over it, and we eliminated those costs, very quickly after the divestitures had closed. With the migration to the cloud, we needed to get out of the legacy data centers, so we sold those. And it was not only a $100 million proceed, but more importantly is it reduced our annual run rate by $25 million, but also enabled us from a cyber perspective and from a risk perspective to be very focused on what we're doing with the cloud and not have legacy data centers as part of our footprint. And then we reduced our real estate by over 40%. Last one, which we talk a lot about now, is AIG Next. You can see we had, and you know this, we had significant amount of costs in parent. And other operations, it wasn't always clear. So we needed to get to a future state operating model that we'd have a lean parent company, that we would eliminate expenses, eliminate duplication, and what wasn't eliminated would be transferred into the business. And the business would have to absorb it, and the combined ratios aren't going up. And so we did this at pace, and you can see as we look to the future, we are going to hit our targets. $500 million of exit run rate savings, get to the lean parent company of $350 million, and allow us to recognize a target operating structure. We accelerated things by creating and offering a voluntary retirement program. It just allowed us to get on with the structural changes and move the organization forward. And then it enabled us to have investment in the future, AI, digital, data.